Hello and welcome back to 100 Yards of Football, Sports Talk Radio. I'm your producer, Jeremiah Long, and joining me to talk about our NFL draft prospect, CJ Stroud, the quarterback from Ohio State, it's our host, Mr. Vincent Turner. How's it going, man?
Hey, how you doing this morning, Mr. Jeremiah Daniel Long? How you
Doing,
doing?
doing really good. Doing really. How about yourself?
Hey, can't complain, man. Ready to talk about this young man from outside the LA area out there in California and kind of explain why a lot of people saying he's the number one prospect in the 2023 NFL draft.
Absolutely. Well, for everybody watching our show live or listening to our podcast, thank you. It's because of you sharing our show with your friends, colleagues, and your coworkers, your family members, anyone that'll listen, your best friends, your old friends from high school that you haven't talked to in 10 years, just call them up and be like, hey, let's listen to 100 Yards of Football. It's the best. And thank you so much because all of y'all doing that week after week and leaving all those great comments is why we're able to grow. Well, Mr. Vincent Turner, what do we think about this incredible draft prospect in CJ Stroud?
Well, man, when you think about CJ Stroud, you got to love his size, 6'3", 218, but you got to think about where he played the school, Ohio State, and think about that quarterback tradition is there. 1968, the Super Sophomores, Rex Kern, Cornelius Green, Rod Gerald, Bobby Horney, Joe Germain, Stanley Jackson, Troy Smith, Art Schlichter. When it's all said and done, Justin Fields, Dwayne Haskins. When it's all said and done, when that young man leaves Ohio State this year, I don't know, he might be the best quarterback that's ever been in Columbus. And then what I really like about him, when you look at the ability that over the last 2 years watching him play, he's very accurate with the football. And I think about all the other college quarterbacks that I've seen in my lifetime in my 62 years, the guys that he really favored to me. And when I put this out there, I'm talking about a guy that can really throw the football. It looks pretty to touch. I think about Warren Moon when he was at Washington, or Shaq Harris in the late 60s with Grambling, or Andre Webb with the Houston Cougars running that run and shoot. Then Joe Gilliam, who I saw at 10 years old on the hill in Tennessee State in Nashville, Tennessee. Then another guy I saw at 6 years old that can really throw the football similar to CJ Stroud when I'm talking about accuracy and the ball coming off his hands, Eldridge Dickey, first round draft choice of now the Las Vegas Raiders, the Oakland Raiders back then. Then Troy Aikman when he was at UCLA. Doug Williams when he was at Grambling. Willie Totten. Now that's who CJ Stroud really puts me in the mind of. Willie Totten. Satellite Express when he was at Mississippi Valley throwing to the greatest football player that played in the National Football League and Jerry Rice, excuse me. Then a Mike Ford at SMU when I was in school. A Tommy Kramer when he at Rice. A Mike Leonard at USC. A Aaron Rodgers when he was California. A Neil Lomax when he was at Portland State. And then a guy, Earl L. Harvey, that played at North Carolina Central in the mid-'80s. This gentleman has got all the intangibles just like those gentlemen I just brought up. But what I like about CJ Stroud, let me put down the skill set, the release point, A+. The foot quickness, A+. The accuracy, as I just rivered a few seconds ago, A+. FBI, football intelligence, A+. Decision making, A+. Third down efficiency. This is what key about a quarterback. Can he make a first down on third down? Pressure zone, A+. The arm strength, A+. The poise, A+. The touch with the football, A+. Then, even though CJ Stroud might not be a scrambler, the escapability, A+. The ball handling, A+. The toughness, A+. Because last year, a lot of people don't realize this. He played with a shoulder injury all of last year. And the intangibles. This is what I like about this young man from California, yeah, the city of Hollywood, the city of Compton. Smart signal caller that can come up to line scrimmage and change out of plays. Natural leader. Everybody on the team loves him. And he's elite ball placement. Elite That means hitting the receivers in stride, A+. Then think about this here. When you look at the production of C.J. Stroud, I'm going to go back to the Rose Bowl. His final game leading into this season. And all those great players that's played in the Rose Bowl, from Tom Harmon, Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, O.J. Simpson, Archie Griffin, Jim Plunkett, Jack Tatum. That young man, Rose Bowl record, 573 yards and 5 touchdowns. No, 6 touchdowns. Then think about this season. The Notre Dame game, he came out of the gates, only had 223 yards passed, only had 2 touchdowns. There was a lot of people was doubting him, said he even took a step back in the Heisman Trophy race. But think about this, against Michigan State. He woke everybody up. They arch rival, 361 yards, 6 touchdowns. Against Iowa, 286 yards, 4 touchdowns. And then on the national stage last week against Penn State, baby, 354 yards and 1 touchdown. But he made play after play in the pocket. You're looking at this gentleman right here. This is a special football player. And think about the pressure that he had to follow. It's not easy when you following Dwayne Haskins, the late great Dwayne Haskins, and you following Justin Fields. That's not an easy task. And you had to win the job because you ran the young man Quinn Ewers back to Texas. So that's a lot of pressure. And you look at last season, Ryan Day really didn't give him a lot of the playbook, but he kind of eased it each week. And now look at the young man. There's no question about it. We could talk about all these great quarterbacks. We got some good ones this season. Will Levis of Kentucky, Hendon Hooker of Tennessee, my man Caleb Williams out there at USC. But make no bones, this young man right here, to me right now, is the first pick in the 2023 NFL draft. And when I look at football players, I look at the stage. To be arguably right now, maybe the number 1 pick in the 2023 NFL draft, and your team right now ranked number 2 in the country alongside Tennessee, that's pressure week in and week out. Your name is in the news week in, week out. And if you make one small turn and your team loses the game, you better believe they're going to put it on your shoulders. And then just think about the school he's playing at, Ohio State. The 68 sophomores, Jack Tatum, Leon Hayton, Rex Kern, Jim Steelwagon, John Brockington, Eddie George, Bill Willis, Paul Warfield, Cornelius Green, as I mentioned, Troy Smith, A.J. Hawk, Bobby Carpenter. To play at that school in the Midwest, and this with reality, Ohio State is the number 1 team in the Midwest. To be under all that pressure and still perform at a high level. And on the year, you still got 2,300 yards, 29 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. You're a special football player, brother. And you 6'3", 218, and you got make all the throws, and you got all the skill set to be a player at the next level, the high level in the National Football League. And you from the state of California, the city of Compton, California, IA, Hollywood, John Wayne, Denzel Washington. C.J. Stroud is Hollywood in Columbus, Ohio. He's a very special football player that I love. My final words about C.J. Stroud. Right now, this young man's 2 years at Ohio State have been something that has been unbelievable. So you know what? When I was in my teens, I was 14, 15, 16 years old. It was a band out of Ohio by the name of the Ohio Players. Since C.J. Stroud has been at Ohio State, the way you walk, the way you talk, it really sets me off to full of love. One child, yes, it does. CJ Stroud has been on fire. Dum, 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 dum. The way you walk and talk. CJ Stroud might be walking to the 2022 Heisman Trophy. And make no bones, Ohio State will be in the college football playoffs, and they're going to win the Big Ten this year. This gentleman is a very special football player. That's my final words about CJ Stroud. The Ohio State Buckeyes. The way you walk and the way you talk, CJ Stroud is strutting.
Yes, sir. Well, what do y'all think? We want to hear from you. We have this incredible team, including our host, Vincent Turner, that brings you awesome information about our NFL draft prospects like CJ Stroud. So we want to hear from you. Do you agree about our assessment of CJ Stroud? What did we miss? What extra information would you love to put into the comments? Please drop that in on YouTube, on Facebook. And if you're listening to our podcast, first off, thank you so much. But if you're not listening to our podcast, come and join us. You can listen like I do over on Spotify. You just pull your Spotify app up, then type in 100 yards of football. You'll see our football on the 50-yard line there, brought to you each week by the Believe Podcast Network. And then you can just listen to all of our over 1,000 episodes, including weekly updates, but also including incredible history specials and information about the football world, interviews with classic players, with other sports broadcasters, with the coaches. We bring it all every single week from our heart into your home. And so you can also listen on any other podcast platform you love, including Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Amazon, Overcast, and Google Podcasts. So thanks again so much to Mr. Vincent Turner for that incredible breakdown of CJ Stroud, our NFL draft prospect for this week. I am your producer, Jeremiah Long, and we'll be back with another live episode. Stay tuned.